This is
I would like to firstly begin with how the Britishers came to Chakhroma area, and way back in 1850, they conducted a household census where they found that Dzümha was there, having a small hamlet consisting of 10 households, and as it has been recorded in the chronicles of the Britishers, and as oral tradition says, because of an endemic, Dzümha villagers couldn't stay and they had shifted elsewhere. The case was of course, but when they came back in the 20th century, they found that their vast swaths of land, the battlefields, were occupied by Maova villagers. It so happened that in their absence, the neighboring village, Pungalwa, or Dzümha village that claimed ownership of the vacant swaths of land, and had given permission to these Kuki villagers, namely Maova. And Maova used to pay an annual rent, what they call in Kuki language, I believe, Ranpan, to Pungalwa village. But when Dzümha raised issues, I think the matter went to the court, but then before that it went to the traditional court, and in April 1973, leaders, Angami leaders from Chakhroma, Medziphema, 8 of them came, and 11 leaders from Dzümha community. They came and they had a meeting at Kaili village, wherein Dzümha village took the oath, saying that this is our traditional ancestral land, and they had taken an oath. And according to Naga tradition, Naga custom, since they have taken the oath, Pungalwa transferred ownership to Dzümha village. Automatically, Maova, being the tenants, should have started paying annual rent to Dzümha, but they refused, and then started expanding the village. They went to so-called New Maova and made a settlement there, but this was opposed by Dzümha village and successive administrative officials in Medziphema, starting with ESA Kronika in 1979, prohibited Maova villagers to make any settlement there in New Maova. So did ESA, Molhujasa, and others. 4 directives were given to Maova village in 1979 and 1980 by ESAs of Medziphema. These orders were not complied with, and I think the matter went to the High Court, and in 1981, the Guwahati High Court directed the then ADC of Parent, Mr. Escalation, to look into the matter afresh. And accordingly, Mr. Lima had 3 days discussions with the concerned parties, with the stakeholders, with community leaders, visited the place himself, and gave a judgment, a 15-page judgment, clearly stating that Maova is a tenant, not a traditional landowner, and it ought to pay annual tax to Dzümha. But somehow the Maova villagers, they went to the High Court and brought a stay order in 1984, 81, and then another one in 1984. Then again, in 2001, the then SDO of Medziphema, Mr. Nipuso wrote a letter to Maova saying that they should not make illegal settlements in disputed areas. But this was not adhered to, obeyed, or complied with by the villagers. And another dragged on. And in 2010, the then DC of Dimapur, Mr. Maova Village, after perusing the judgments of Mr. Aslima Iyer, as well as all the orders passed by the administrative officials, gave a 30-day ultimatum to Maova to start paying taxes to Dzümha Village. But again, I think they went to the court and brought some stay order. And herein lies the interesting part, the inaction of the government in implementing the orders of its administrative officials in a field, those people working on the ground. In 2021, or before that, 2018, Maova Village Council adopted a very funny resolution prohibiting landowners to develop their properties. It was widely publicized in the newspapers and it was strictly implemented. So when the landowners complained to the administrative officials in Medziphema, Dubashi Court of Medziphema passed an order in 2021 restraining Maova Village Council not to implement that resolution and to withdraw the same. In 2023, this Chakhroma Abhinav passed a stricture to Maova Village. But then it wasn't implemented by the government. And like I said, herein lies the interesting part. It has compelled us to gather here today to insist that tenants acknowledge the traditional landowners and also at the same time to impress upon the government the need to implement its orders. The orders that have been passed by the administrative officers on the ground should be implemented in letter and spirit. If the government had implemented what its officers have ordered or directed, we Chakhroma people wouldn't have gone to Maova on 13th of February this year. And today we needn't have been gathered here in the heat, inconveniently standing, tolerating the summer heat. But then the government also hasn't been doing what it ought to have been done. That's why we gathered here today. And the patience of the Angami people, especially the Chakhroma Angami people, are running out. And we must insist that when our guests, our tenants are here in our land, they should follow our customs and traditions. We are strictly opposed to the kingship, so-called kingship, practiced by the Gambura of Maova Village, because this is against Angami tradition and custom. This is against Article 371A. Article 371A has to do with the Nagas of Nagaland only, not with tenants, not with guests. Migrants and tenants should realize their place, and moreover, practice of kingship is against the Village and Tribal Councils Act of 1978. So, we want to impress on the government to strictly go by the rules, uphold the laws of the land, acknowledge traditional land ownership, and implement its officers' orders in letter and spirit. Thank you, and God bless.
About 170 years ago, Kukis first came to the Naga territory as mercenaries. After their purpose was completed, the masters left them and they became refugees in the Naga territory. Refugees. Having become refugees, the ancestors of Chakhroma people, Angami people, and other Nagas, they accommodated these people to establish, these refugees to establish their villages, in the hope that we will coexist peacefully. But it is unfortunate that the Kukis time and again betrayed the hope and expectation of our ancestors. I had at Senapati mentioned, disclosed what we found in government archives, that in 1956, they wrote to the Prime Minister of India asking for guns to fight against the Nagas. Some of the Kukis are today refuting what is there in the government archives. Today they will deny that they are refugees. I challenge them to deny this fact. Just about, it is not even 1 month now, on 20th of June 2026, when the whole world observed World Refugee Day, the Kukis participated, you will find them participating in the World Refugee Day on 20th June 2026, asking for global sympathy. June, इतना एक महीना भी हुआ नहीं. जून 20 तारीख ते पूरा पृथ्वी, पूरा दुनिया तो रिफ्यूजी खान करने वर्ल्ड रिफ्यूजी मानी है. 20th June do. Itu din de kuki manu bi world refugee de participate kurigine dance kurise aro dunia laga sympathy, dunia laga taikhan refugee aise koine dunia laga morom mangi se. Abnagan even media friends, you can Google to the observation of World Refugee Day on 20th June and see the Kuki participation in the World Refugee Day observation on 20th June, just 20th June 2026. It's not even 1 month now. So, to this very day, Nagas elsewhere, and in particular the Chakhroma Public Organization, the people of Chakhroma are honoring the commitment of their ancestors in the hope, once again in the hope that we will coexist peacefully. These people became, if it was not because of the kindness and the hospitality of the Nagas, allowing them to settle in their land. These people are otherwise. They are not even Indians. They are from migrants from erstwhile Burma, now called Myanmar. Naga manu jamin digine takhan kya amar jamin te boigine bosti bana bole dia karne takhan India manu Indian citizen paise to eneka hoigine pura central service te ki te kam paigine ase ami khan jamin na digine takhan kya amar mati te settle kuribole mana kuri dile takhan to Burma laga manu ase to India manu nohoi to. Unfortunately, this is not acknowledged. We are not asking the cookies to do us good or pay us something for this kindness. We are just asking for peaceful coexistence. I think the stand of CPO, the stand of the Nagas are very simple, clear, and loud. Amakan laga mati te thakibo koile, shanti para amakan logot thakibi. If you want to live with us, let us live together in peace as good brothers and sisters, as announced by our President CPO. No, if you are not satisfied with the hospitality, if you are not satisfied with the goodness of our ancestors, go and find greener pasture. Leave our land. It's as simple as that. If you are not satisfied, if you are not contented with the goodness of the Nagas, if you are not contented, if you are not satisfied with the kindness of the Chakhroma Angamis, Charibina, Amar Mati Charigina Jabina, Dusra Baljaga Bisari Loilubi, Amikan Tumagini Bon Kuranoe. Into if you are going to stay in our land, we are not stopping you from staying in our land. Our ancestors have given you land to settle. We honor the goodness of our ancestors, but let us coexist. Let us live together as good neighbors, as good brothers and sisters, with respect for one another. Itu ase.
Balra bhavana thaga de amikhange hisab na gurile. Patience to khotom hoy ase, khotom hoise, aru rukhibo napara laga time aise. Ajit to peace rally rakha do. Kali portion amikhan nijer Angami customary tradition practices para kam kurna jaile. Violence bhi log pabone ki amikhan laga emotion to logina kam korle violence se ena pabone ki peace harmony to na thakibone ki itu bhi dikhise hoile bhi amikhan leaders kamra aji to rukhai gana ahadu amikhan bhi patiently aise don taste mukhan laga patient do aro na sabe taste na kurbe aro government logode amikhan customary para bhi upor respect kurigina government ase government bhi tu kon sida golti ase sai dibo koina amikhan parent body khan bara bhi kwa bara government ge bhi chithi pathaise amikhan youth side para bhi pathaise demand kumba koise timely intervene kuribi ki kon thik ase kon thik nohai ase aji Maova bosti manu amikhan traditional land owner khange recognize na kura Izat, respect na kuya. Itu saigna ta khange government ki bhi appeal kurina ahi ase. Hoile bhi government bhi ajitot eku faisla hunai gina itu kuria amikhan pa nai. Time khotom hoy ase, time khotom hoise. Rukuri ase amikhan rukhi dibi patience rakhi dibi koy ase hoile bhi ajibra amikhan patience tu na thaga ho jabo. Kali portion to amikhan aji bhal bhavana bra. So let us be reminded, government be, American Maova Bostide, Takan leaders can tinjon, Kun American CPO leaders can get Biakam Kuise, Itu can get banishment there. Then it will be honored Nagre. Aji tot inaga hadu itu nohoy bole amikan government logote bi biswas hari jabo. Youth kando mokhan ase to protect our customary tradition amikan laga mati tu safeguard kubole ase. Ki holibi ki hisab pra holibi amikan tate khara hoi jabo. Kali portion rukhabo napara hoi jaile. Itu government ki bi advance koi ase. Itu hoa piside biya amikan mazode peace harmony na thagile. Government laga upore ahibo. আমি খান পেশেন্স কৰাটো আজি পৰা খতম আছে আজি ৰেলি ৰাখা ইটো দে মুখান সব কোন কিমান জন আহিছে আমি খান let us be reminded especially our Chakhroma people মুখান আৰু একবাৰ আহি কিনে ইয়াতে ইমান তো যায় আছে আজি তো এনেকা হৈ আছে Maova বস্তি মানুহ খান especially the leaders আৰু তাহান বস্তি মানুহ খান আপনি খান লগা ইজ্জত নকৰে acknowledge নকৰে কোৱা লগা আমি খান কোন আৰু বুজাবলে আজি খাৰা কৰিছে দে Olive Ajibra, Kali Porson Khan, Takan itu niche nahe bole. The youths will protect, safeguard in its own course of action. Itu logina jabo. Itu bra aji kiman jon ahigina ase ami kan loud and clear aru bujai dibo mon thaka do. Aji to patience korna hado. Ami kan itu aru rakhi dibo extend kuro napara hoa ase. Walaga youth kan itu apni kan aji aha kan sob ke janai dise agede kwa nisna ami khan kali portion holibi peace harmony ami khan inuga kilogo thakibo mon ase holibi aji tinta leaders karne Maova laga tinta leaders karne takan laga biya kam kora tahanke utha hatai dia ulai jabe ami khan jurisdiction de na thakibo kwa itu acknowledge na kurile ami khan peace harmony thakibo mon thakilibi ami khan ge izat na kurala do ami khan bi itu khan ge hisab na kurbo Itu bra mukhan aji kobol thaga do aro itu tinjon karne Maova bosti manu khan bi kinaga ase ki bhavna kure ase tinjon karne bosti manu bi sob public khan bi sob duk pabone ki apni khan bi bhavna kuri thakibi aru bhavna kuribi ta khan kile aji to inaga ase ami khan sipyo morom kura baba kura laga ekta ke tai khan je morom kuri dela itu kile aji to na buje kile niche na he Kali person to ami khan peace rally rakhi bole laga bhi dikhise apne an sob media de ki kobo aitu opode na buja manu ki ase patience to khatam hoy ase aji sob ami khan laga mon duk hoigena mon bikhai gena pura kiman jon aise especially my youth fellow youths sob ke aro thank you koi dia ase holibi আমি কান কালি পৰছন কি কৰিনা যাব গলিবি আজি কপৰে কুৰা নিছনা কালি পৰছন খাবি আমি কানে কি লগ খাৰা কৰি থাকিব একি লগ মন দিগিনা ইউনিটি তো থাকিবি আমি কান কোৱা নিছনা আমি কান লাগা youth manu do আমি কান লাগা land traditional land আৰু মকান honor ro itu safeguard kubule কাৰণে আছে
আমি মাইকি খান মানু লাগা পালদে কথা একটা দুইটা কই দিব I am deeply grateful for the opportunity given to the Angami Women Organization to stand before you today and voice out our concerns on a matter that weighs heavily in our hearts. At the outset, on behalf of the women folk, I would like to express our unwavering solidarity with the CPO in this struggle to protect and uphold our ancestral rights over our ancestral land. Our forefathers, in their wisdom and generosity, extended goodwill by allowing others to settle and live alongside us in peace and harmony. However, it is deeply disturbing that today we find ourselves facing threats and intimidation from some of those who were permitted to settle here through our goodwill and blessings. If such intimidation can be directed at the rightful indigenous owners of the land, despite our hospitality and generosity, one cannot help but ask what will become of us in the years ahead, considering the ever-growing number of migrants in and around Medziphema and Dimapur. This should serve as a wake-up call for all of us. It reminds us that while we have always valued peaceful coexistence, we must also remain steadfast in safeguarding our ancestral land, our rights, and the dignity of our people. We stand united with the CPO in ensuring that our legitimate rights are protected through lawful and peaceful means. As women of the Angami tribe, we have always stood shoulder to shoulder with our menfolk. Through every season of our history, we have supported, encouraged, and stood firmly with each other in pursuit of common good. The good culture and traditions of the Angamis and the age-old practices never allow women to go and antagonize either friends or foes. We always exercise restraint, knowing that unnecessary confrontation only creates tension and animosity within society and bring hardship upon men, our families, and society. Hence, our role has always been to preserve peace, strengthen our families, and stand steadfastly beside our menfolk. It is therefore not in our nature, nor has history taught us to ignite the fire of hatred among humanity. That has never been our way. Yet, in many recent occasions, we have witnessed some unfortunate incidents in our own land, the latest being while the well-intended and peace-loving Angamis went to Maova on a goodwill mission, they were met with provocation and hostility led by Kuki women. It is deeply disheartening and when women who have traditionally been regarded as peacemakers and guardians of their communities are seen encouraging and supporting actions that escalate conflict and violence. At times like this, our responsibility as women should be to promote restraint, dialogue, and reconciliation rather than further division and hostility. Today, I stand here on behalf of the Angami Women Organization as our conscience leaves us with no other choice but to make a sincere appeal to the Kuki women to maintain restraint and not to create division and hostility in this peace-loving society. I would also like to insist you, the Kuki women, to uphold the age-old traditions and cultures of the landowners, promote and protect the peace, harmony, and tranquility of the society, and most of all, not to plant alien cultures in our society, in our land. Thank you all.
Baikan minority ase, we are Christian, we are minority, itu tan sympathy lo bole. Baikan la kam tu dikhiasna, they are worse than Islamic terrorists. Iti ami an dikhiasna Manipur de, age de kotha kwa khan nishna. Murai kena, larai de do, world ekjon ke bari do, world hoshe, larai kore do, ami bhi muribo, tabi muribo do. Only bhi ekjon galti kora do jana innocent manu. Ekuna kura manu ke adi kena murai dia. Inaga hoy naga manu. Ami han naga manu inaga nai do. Samira example that they want to atahand into same repeat here in Nagaland. It I to try kura sido. It I bro we have to be ready now. Ami han naga manu han. Today bisi thanks ase apni ani manjon agina support dishe ami han Chakhroma peoples ke apni han agina apni han message khan agina man jobra ami han ke modod dia sobke thank you ko ase olibi coalition ami han naga manu ami han uthibo lagibo ami han bisi sal gumaise ami han uthikena aji আমি খান লোক তো কি হ্যাপেন আছে এটু চাব লাগিব আৰু একজন একজনকে support কৰিব লাগিব এতিয়া আমি আজি representation letter একটা দিব আছে ADC কে I request our joint secretary Masino Kemetha to come and take her time.
Office of the Chakhroma Public Organisation, Okin Chumugirima, Nagaland, July 17, 2026. To the Secretary, Government of Nagaland, through ADC Medziphema subject charter of demands. Sir, the Chakhroma Public Organization held a peace rally on the 17th of July at Chanapani, New Medziphema, in connection with the ongoing issue with Maova Village, and as submitted earlier to the government of Nagaland by the Chakhroma Public Organization and Chakhroma Youth Organization, it has been resolved today to reiterate our charter of demands. 1. The government must enforce the recommendations of administrative officials on the field, such as the orders issued by the successive EACs of Medziphema way back in 1979-80, and also the order of the then SDO Medziphema in 2001. 2. Ensure Maova Village adheres to the historical orders, decrees of the government, and pay the nominal token tax in recognition of traditional land ownership. Enforcing the then DC Dimapur Mongwati Ayers 30-day ultimatum to Maova Village to pay annual tax to Dzümha Village. 3. Immediately review the status of the Maova Village Council for its repeated violations of administrative orders. 4. The law enforcing agencies must ensure that the protection provided by the state does not become a tool for the suppression of indigenous customary rights. Should this village remain unchecked, it will likely continue to disregard government orders as they have in the past. 5. Immediate de-recognition of Maova Village since it has not been recognizing the traditional land ownership of Chakhroma Village, Dzümha Village as decreed by the then ADC parent in 1981. 6. Immediate termination of Sri Seboy Changsan from the position of head GB of Maova Village and ensure that the arrangement of hereditary GB chieftainship be discontinued, since this practice has no mention in the Nagaland Village and Area Councils Act of 1978. 7. Suspension of issuance of birth certificates, permanent residential certificates, indigenous inhabitant certificates, and all other official and government-related documents until such a time these documents can be issued strictly based on the 1963 electoral roll. 8. Executing and overseeing the expulsion ordered against the 3 individuals, namely Mr. Sutminal Vaipe, former chairman, Mr. Seboy Changsan, head GB, and Mr. Paboy Changsan, former chairman, by the Chakhroma Youth Organization in accordance with the Angami customary law and practices. Signed, Jato Kimho, Sebastian Dzümha, the president and the vice president of Chakhroma Public Organization. Copy 2, 1, Home Commissioner Nagaland for information. 2, Commissioner Nagaland for information. 3, DC Chumugidima for information.
बस फोटो दो There's a right. Let's go.
Maova Village to de-recognize Kurdi ko naam yan to bar likha se bar ko ase aur we till today aji laga meeting bhi ta hum chairman village council chairman ko na complain diya se the chairman to government ta la phale ki ho ase ami andole patiently likha se ali ami la go phale bi ku aji to action ঠিক লোৱা নাই এইটোৰ পৰা আমি খান আজি গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট গভৰ্ণমেণ্টৰ লাভ ইন ক্লিয়াৰ ভইচ দিব মন থাকে আমি খান CPO-টো পেশেণ্টলি পিচফুলি এইটো খান তাই খান লগত এজ এ ফাদাৰ এণ্ড ছান আমি আন ফাচলা হৈ যাব নেকি ভাবি আছে অলপি তাহান এইটো ভাবনা নাই তো গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট বি আমি খান নিজে আমি খান আমি খান লা হেণ্ডেল লোৱা পিছে আগে একশ্যন লৈ থাকে এইটোৰ পৰা এতিয়াতো আমি লা পেশেণ্ট আমি ৰখিব নাপাৰে আছে এইটোৰ পৰা আজি ইমান পাব্লিক ৰেলী ব্ৰাদাৰ আমি আজি গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট লগত এপিল কৰা আছে এইটো ইমিডিয়েট একশ্যন গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট পাৰ্ট কি ওলা আছে উইথিন short days I do action the loading in the it is
I'll make sure that the letter is forwarded by today itself because since you have addressed the Chief Secretary it may take some time to use the office of the Chief Secretary to the Deputy Commissioner. I'll make sure which is Deputy Commissioner by today and I hope the release ends and you peacefully go home. Let's not don't keep us
it's a
in
peaceful
a defensive mode.
Okay.
Thank you for having a very peaceful one as expected. And we have also whatever to be recommended, whatever report to be submitted, we have submitted to the government. So we will further direct from our end, at least from our office. Okay, thank you.
이거.